Hey, welcome into this edition of the GASOCast, episode 18. I'm your host, Ryan Massa, joined by Blue Zertucci and Michael Timmons. Glad to be here, guys.
What's up? What's up?
Just a couple house cleaning. We got a cup of hoops this week, me and Blue, sponsored by Synergy. That'll be coming out. Recruiting Simplified newsletter dropped this morning, Wednesday, that is. Acton Bad broadcast. The awards, they dropped, Michael.
Yep, they're out on the Texas Hoops TV YouTube channel. They're out. See who I thought was acting the baddest on the high school season across Texas.
Love it. Gaso Extra. We will be dropping our 2026 teams, doing our little draft later today. Excited about that. Next Gaso, 2 cities, 1 Gaso. Y'all want care to explain? Go into depth. We got a loaded field.
Yeah, it's starting to
We're
come.
gonna be talking about a lot of it today. It's loaded, and it's one of our favorite events just because it's fun to pull off, and we're built for it. So once we see it all come together, we get more and more excited, and it's almost a week away. So we'll get into that here pretty soon.
It's the weekend where you discover a lot of new things too.
Yeah.
By watching everybody.
We like those weekends. Make sure you're following us. I'm at Gaso Mass, at Gaso Blue, at iFilmHoopers, at Gaso Linded, at Gaso Tim, at Texas Hoops Gaso, at Gaso Clips. We got a lot of channels here, and we all kind of put our little spin to it. And it's fun to be a part of.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about our event. Okay, we're going to do a lot more in-depth preview, I'd say, next week. But we just want to kind of get a start. Thoughts on what we love about 2 Cities, 1 Gaso, and then teams, players, anything. Why don't you tip us off, Blue?
Well, the first thing that kind of comes to mind, because I'll be in Houston all weekend, is that just the talent that is there in Houston with Kuz Elite, TJ Ford Academy, Houston Superstars, JL3, they'll all be in attendance, plus many more. HD Toros are coming in from San Antonio. I mean, the list is long. You can go to the app and look at all the teams that are going to be there. And so it's just a great way, really, for me, just because of this is kind of where it all kind of starts for me in the past years of this first weekend in April and being in Houston. And then from there, as we move along throughout our events, there's a lot to kind of compare to because Houston just comes out with a ton of talent.
I love how we set the stage in Houston. I just wrote Houston. I love Houston. There's players everywhere. And tipping off with Houston is really fun for us because we just get to see all those guys. And like you said, Blue, kind of sets a real tone of the highest level basketball that we see. I mean, Houston's really good, puts tons of players out. And I'm dying to see the Kuz Elite 17U team. Jason Scott, Tyrus Rathan Mays, Ian Inman, Aiden Buckman. They're just really fun. I've seen some highlights where they're just moving the ball. And when a team with that much talent is moving the ball, man, that means a lot of players are playing with an advantage, and that means a lot of points are probably being scored.
Yeah, and for me, as far as what I love about this is that I like to remind our viewers and the people around Texas, we're more than just an event. We're not here running an event more so than we're here doing our work. We're evaluators. We're covering the state of Texas. We're putting content out, all this stuff. So the fact that we can run 2 events at the same exact time just gives us more ammo to use as we talk about college coaches are going to start being out on the roads talking. So you give all 3 of us the ammo of starting to see all these players. I'm going to be in Dallas and Houston at the same both times. I'm going to drive to Houston, be back to Dallas. So if you give us 3 and the rest of our GASO staff all this ammo to see as many players and prospects as possible, that's only great for the state of Texas and for because Mass always says it anytime you get a chance to, our credibility is on the line. Like, this isn't blowing smoke out here. Like, we want to get the best evals we can, and that means seeing as many players as we can. So the fact that we can do it at the same exact time in 2 different cities where I might be in Dallas and Blues in Houston, we're talking about different players. It's so beautiful. And once again, it is hard to put this event together, but it's very rewarding. And then for me as a media guy, I'll have my videographers and photographers in Houston. I'll have them in Dallas. So the fact that we can have a little fun competing back and forth, hey, Houston, we just got this alley-oop over here. Dallas, what did you get? It's just going to be a fun time of almost competing to see who's, for the sake of a shameless plug, who's acting badder down in Houston or at Duncanville Fieldhouse next weekend, and I'm excited for it.
Well, if you're going to be at both places, you'll be the baddest.
Hey, it's all fun until y'all are like, "How's the drive back?" And I'm like, yeah, it's fine."
I also want to add here, at GASO, we want to let you tell the story, and we're not going to bring in this narrative going into the event. We want you to tell the story, and we want to be able to narrate it as it unfolds and narrate it the entire week after and tell the story of what actually happened. That is a goal that we continually talk about in our office. We're going to be telling the truth, and we're going to go after who's writing the story at our events.
Yeah, there's not pre-scripted lists that we like. We know, like we know who's supposedly the dudes.
Yeah.
The dudes still got to come play, and we know that there's dudes lined up on rosters that may be the fourth, fifth, and sixth option of these teams. Like those sometimes are the ones where like, look at how he took this game over. And so, like Matt says, yeah, like you are in control of this script, and you write your story, and we'll help you tell it.
But it's also player 7, 8, 9, 10 that we get the calls on, that we can go deep into a roster, deep into conversation and evaluations with college coaches of all levels. I think that that's really where you can't write that story, because there's so many players that are going to be popping up in that you can talk about, because you got to be critically thinking out there, even as an evaluator. You got to put on your thinking cap and realize who's playing well and who's taking the next step. And that's what we're good at.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. A player that you haven't seen in a while that you're eager to see. Lou, I want to pass this one to you.
BJ Gill,
That's
from
a good
Iowa Colony, playing with Houston Superstars, with John Urie. John Urie's going to ring the bell for the kid, and so I want to just go out there and watch him again to kind of see what he's going to do against certain competition that we do put him against. I mean, this is kind of like where we get to dictate a little bit of, hey, we want to see this matchup so we can kind of see some of these kids, and then the rest of the stories written like we just talked about with the other ones. But BJ Gill's a speedy point guard. He can get up and down the court very quickly. He can hit shots, and that's what he was doing all season long. And so I want to see this translate out into the spring and summer courts.
Mike?
Yeah, for me, there's just something with Cash Gardner and Jet McCaslin backcourt that comes down to Houston in April and puts on a show. Last year, I think Cash had like 11 threes against a JL3 team. So just this time of year, you expect fireworks. They're going to be coming down with GPS this summer. And just one of those, it's just going to be electric anytime those two on the court. And as we start to do the matchmaking, I'm sure we'll have some really explosive matchups for them. But just knowing that last year we saw an 11 3-point performance by Cash Gardner, why not say that I'm excited to see him and eager to see him? Of course I am.
Michael, Sean Ward's on line 3. That was 12, I believe, in a game.
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to call Sean and ask him how many total for the weekend.
Yeah.
He'll know.
Yeah.
I'm going to hop in with another familiar face, Xavier Rendon, Persol, HD Torres. I didn't get to see him during the season, but I did see him last summer. Long-range wing, who's a playmaker. Coach Martinez just kills it every year with the HD Torres, man. Those kids get better and better over the course of the summer, and I expect no different. I expect a better version of Xavier, and I'm really excited to see him get back on the court.
I'll hop in here, and like I said, I'll be in both cities. So I'm going to give some love when somebody I'm eager to see that I haven't seen in a while. I don't know how long a while is, but I think I'm ready to see Caden Edwards again. And that YGC team, new kids on the block in a sense, and I feel like Caden Edwards is kind of leading that pulse. I feel like he's in kill mode right now, and every highlight I've seen, I feel like he's just bound to go crazy. And on that same note, I'm also excited to see the teams that created momentum for themselves at our King of the Court. I'm talking about like the Gold Boys and Second to None that continue to take the momentum they built in our King of the Court on March 15th and have catapulted themselves into real relevance week over week. And now we get a chance to see those teams come back again And once again, as we make up these matchups, they're going to be in some really, really fun events. And I think that's what we love. We love to see a kid once in our eyes and see how they continue to progress over the spring and summer. And I'm glad we get to see these guys again.
And reward the teams that played really well at our first
Exactly.
GASO. Like if you play well in front of us, it's really easy for us to go, okay, they can handle themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
Reggie Rito, Humble Summer Creek. This kid is a point guard that I saw during the season. Didn't have his best games, but I saw something there. He's a really good decision maker. He's got a gorgeous jump shot. He's a quick little guard off the bounce. And I'm just ready to see him again. It's been a minute, and I thought he was a really good player. And you know, these Texas takeover groups, they're always pretty talented. If he's heading up the point guard spot of it for that 16U team, then I know I need to tune in. I know I had a good feel on him.
Dylan Baker is my guy here. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, I was just jump in here with Dylan Baker from Friendswood. First time I saw him was at TABC back in June of 2023. Then got to see him throughout the season this year. And you know, the last time I saw him on the court was in a heartbreaking round 3, last second loss to Fort Bend Marshall to go to regionals. And you talk about the toughness, the do it all forward. That's what Dylan Baker is, and I want to see it now on a little bit larger stage with just multiple players on his team, and he's having to go attack against teams that have multiple gifted players at each position, because he's just that kind of player that can make something happen when when it's unexpected. And he's with Trey Young, Adidas Gold out of Houston.
Yep.
Michael, I'm going to let you set this one up. This was a great topic, and I'm going to give the title and let you kind of run with it. How to catch GASO staff's eye during the events.
Yeah, so Mass, honestly, like this topic comes up just because you're doing such a great job with Recruiting Simplified. I tell everybody you're probably one of the best follows on social media, specifically the X platform across the country.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you your flowers every time I can, because I love that grassroots there's an entertainment factor. So a lot of people want the fun, the silly, the gossip. I mean, you're just straight. What's the most important thing? And that's getting these kids to college. So the fact that you're able to do that at such a high level and the results speak for themselves. So I brought this one up, how to catch GASO staff's eyes during the events. And honestly, a lot of the things that we see are the same things that catch college coaches' eyes. We've talked to plenty of them, so we all kind of align. So Blue, looking at our rundown here, you're a man of very few words on this, so I'm going to let you elaborate on the term "just play." Let's hear it.
2 words written on paper, but I can probably speak for the next 5 minutes on this, but I won't. It's just going out there and just competing. Don't worry about who's watching you. Don't worry about the game beside you that's happening, that when people are cheering and there's a big dunk. I mean, just focus on what you're doing on the court with your team. Show me that you can be a great teammate in these types of settings, because there's a chemistry that you have to build with everybody, whether it's the coaches, the program director, the players on the court. Just go play. Understand that there are situations that happen on the court what do you do? Your shot's not falling. How are you going to go get the next rebound? How are you going to go make the big steal? And I think it's just very simple for me, because as evaluators, you don't have to go get 20, 25 points. Maybe you had 4 points in the last minute of the game, but they were very big and meaningful. We can pick up on that. We can pick up on the steals. We can pick up on little things that happen throughout the game for a player, that if you just play and keep the emotion out of it, the negative emotion, that's all you got to do.
Love it. I'm going to go 2-pronged approach here. On the court, I'm a sucker for shot making and decision making. If you can make shots and you're making very quick and decisive decisions, and I'll be a fan of you forever, and I'll be advocating for you for your entire time in high school. But I thought this was kind of random, but Antoine Shannon of Allen kind of came up and introduced himself to me. And I just loved being able to converse with him, because at the end of the day, we're human beings, right? And I'm just in that kid's corner now, regardless of what happens, because I feel like I kind of have a relationship with him. And he just came up, introduced himself to me. We kind of talked about recruiting. He asked me a couple questions, and I just thought it was really cool that he was able to do that. And at the end of the day, our jobs are relatively similar in terms of I'm trying to help you get to the next level, and this kid wants to get to the next level. So like, sure, he saw value in that I could help him, but he also like made a point to come see me. And quite frankly, that just doesn't happen very often. So outside of the basketball court, Antoine Shannon has made me a fan of him. He's reached out on DM. I'm happy to respond because I feel like I kind of know the kid a little bit. I just am using that as an example, but I thought it was a really cool interaction. And it made me want to sit down and make sure that I feel very comfortable in my evaluation of him. So I'm not saying run up and say hi to me if you don't have anything like there has to be a point behind it, right? But I just thought it was really cool and special, and I wanted to give that shout out.
No, that's awesome. Like we talk about, we're here to advocate for these kids. We're not GASO the guys that, hey, this is the event they're putting on, we're playing in it. We're also the guys that are doing all the work behind the scenes to make sure that we help you as best we can. Like this platform is nothing if we're not using it for everything we can possibly use it for.
And Michael, you were the one. I mean, me and Blue both have to give you credit. Like about 2.5 years ago, you just came to us and said, y'all can't just both be the GASO branded Twitter. And we were like, that's easy though. And you were like, no, like you got to show your face and, start making who you are known. So that shows that we're bigger than, or not bigger than the brand, but we're a real person behind the brand.
Yeah.
So,
and you're authentic. If y'all weren't authentic guys, then it wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
Because we don't need more fluff out there. But I just knew that people would respect y'all even more because every time, like, I'm posting about golf, Tiger Woods, and boxing. Like, y'all are straight to what it matters. So yeah, y'all are great follows, and I'm glad y'all took my advice on there. Yeah. But for me, how do you catch my eye? It's being undeniable, stacking up winning plays,
aka back acting bad.
Well, it's funny because obviously if you hit 2 threes in a row, I don't mind a heat check. I really don't. I'm a video guy, so I don't mind a heat check, but I also am going to value a shot fake because they know you're on fire right now and go make a play. A 3-pointer, picking up 94 feet matters. All the cute stuff where you hit a 3, you're kind of backpedaling. But if I see you hit a 3 and you're right up ready to play defense, that tells me you're locked in. But how do you just continue to stay undeniable? Yeah. If your shot's not falling, go dive into the bleachers and try to save a ball. We'll look at you, and I'm going to, just anything just to keep yourself relevant throughout the duration of the game. How many times can us three look at each other and be like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Oh, that's a big rebound. Just making winning plays as many times as possible, and you'll find yourselves on the tip of our tongues and college coaches when it matters. And I call those also the look down plays. When college coaches have their roster sheets at our GASOs, you'll see a kid will make a play and they'll look down. What number 13? Oh, that's okay, cool. Yeah. How many times can you make a look down play?
I love that.
Yeah.
We need to make that a staple, a look down play.
To find out. I need a different name for it, but it's the look down. It's the same thing that the parents are looking at college coaches.
Roster check?
Yeah, something.
I mean, how many times have we sat there and watched a kid go back-to-back threes and then they don't get the heat check pass back? I'm a little disappointed. Like,
yeah, yes.
Third, if the third, give it to him at that point.
As a point guard, I'm also looking at you to make that decision to be like, hey, one of your guys is going crazy.
Yeah,
you can get yours here in a little bit, but show me that you know what's going on in the scope of things and go make it happen.
We'll spot out the selfish person real quick after if you don't get that heat check pass back to them.
Facts.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this edition of the GASOCast. We'll see you next time.